I am going to try to show you guys what I did yesterday with this gilding. There's some energy that is in the ground below us, right where he's eating, that is extremely powerful. And I have the ability to harness all the energies within me and without, whether it be the wind, the rain, the energy of the ground, it doesn't matter. Where there is a huge energy spot right below us, I'm going to harness that from the ground. I'm going to use just my fingertips, and I'm going to send him energy, and I want you to study his demeanor right now. This is with no energy. I want you to watch and see how he reacts to my different energy that I'm going to be sending. And I'm not touching him yet. Probably about 2 inches from his body. I'm still not touching his body. I'm just touching his aura. Now I'm going to go ahead and touch his body. He's trying to figure out what the vibration feeling he's feeling is. It's like, wow, that was intense. Now I'm going to do the same thing while I'm touching him. He's already starting to drop his gilding, drop his sheath. Right there, I was taking out some negative charged energy and trauma via scar tissue from right in through, right about the back where the saddle would sit. He has a little bump right about there on his spine too that is calcified. It's a live nerve that is firing all the time. And it's got calcified scar tissue around it, so it makes it hard as a rock. So in a way, it's its way of protecting the spine. It's the body's way of protecting the spine. But you can't, there it goes. I just popped that right there. Reset that nerve right there. Good job. Good boy. All right, so I found the right spot and completely took that hard spot that felt like hard calcified and separated that enough that I actually reset that nerve. And when you reset the nerve, you actually reset the vertebra too. If you try to reset the vertebra without resetting the nerve first, you don't fix the problem, the root of the cause, and it'll still keep going out. I like them to be loose, and messing with the flies like this, it may be an annoyance to some people, but the constant moving like this is actually really good when I'm doing body work. Because when I'm doing body work and he's constantly moving like this, but he's got his head down, he's susceptible to go back into spots that he's not been able to go back into for a long time. And he'll back up and come back in. I'm not going to chase him. He has to come to me. It's amazing with these horses and finding out what they go through. You know? What they tolerate and how much pain and constriction that they're in and how well they do. Most horses can't tolerate half the pain that they go through, and then you allow or want them to be an athletic athlete at the top of their game, winning you 1D checks or winning the top of whatever you're doing. But you're doing that as constrictively as possible. Oh, there goes one. Nice. He's got these bumps. He's got three. Well, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4. So on each vertebra, there's scar tissue on top of it. And so the reason there's scar tissue is because there's a little bit of a live nerve right there. So all those need to be popped and reset. So imagine having right there on his wither, which would be right here, pushing down all the time and compressed. And most people are compressed. So it's really no different, the horses, than the human. We put it there energetically. We put it on them physically. And when he breaks contact, then he breaks contact. He tells me what he needs and what he doesn't need, and how much he can take and what he can't take. There's a big lump of scar tissue right here behind this shoulder blade right here. Oh, big old chunk. You'd think it was bone. Yeah, it hurts a little bit. I know, Betty. That hurts a little bit. Where's my tool? Right there. I love this tool. It does everything I need it to do, plus it takes all the negative energy out, transmutes it, and that way there's less pain in the process of pulling it out. It's awesome. These are the best tools. You cannot buy them. These are absolutely phenomenal. And they fit in all the crevices too. Oh yeah, it's like a big, there it goes a little bit. It's actually bigger than a golf-sized ball behind his shoulder blades of nothing but just strictly scar tissue. A big ball of it. There was a big break. And of course, when you got them eating, they're moving that jaw. They're giving themselves endorphins of feel good. So this right here will be more of a I feels really good to have this done right here instead of having this area be pain, because when you're taking some of these knots out, yeah, it has pain. He's like, all right, go ahead. I'm back now. I had to give it just a break. So this is going to restrict his shoulder movement. Oh yeah. This is going to restrict all of his shoulder movement. That's way better. All right. I think we about got that. There, I think we got it. That was a good one. That's going to get his free range of motion here. Oh yeah, have you kissed him yet? Third eye kiss? You gotta give him the third eye kiss. He says, not when there's food around or flies. All right. So we got that. Oh, yeah. Perfect. Release all of that down into there. And of course, right here, then you have cinching trauma. This big bulge right here is where your cinches and everything's come together. So this creates a ton of scar tissue. This actually limits their mobility also. So if you're asking them to do a Martha-like turn and they got a body full of scar tissue, it ain't gonna happen, no matter how athletic they are. Oh, there were some good pops through the ribs where people spur them, create scar tissue right in through there, and that scar tissue actually makes the ribs tighter. So by spurring and kicking them and creating scar tissue on the ribs, you actually make them slower. Not only in the process of it, but later too, body-wise. And then that restriction, ding, 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 that restriction in the body movement, you see he's fully down now as a gelding is dropped. These restrictions that we're getting as horses is causing pain nonstop. Pain nonstop is your root of all ulcers. Get that one out. All ulcers, yes. So all of the ulcers that horses are getting is coming from scar tissue. The scar tissue is causing the body to become painful. And then depending on how tolerant these horses are, is depending on how long before they blow up finally. See, a lot of scar tissue right here in this flank area. I can take this right, and this is a rock, right over the top of that flank area. Now I am sending my personal energy with the ground's energy through this rock, and so I'm able to transmute all of the darkness of the, see, every scar tissue, whether it be on an animal or a person, when it was created, the accident that created it has negatively charged emotions. And those negatively charged emotions are going nonstop if it's in the body. And that is attracting everything to come as it is in the reality right now. Oddly enough, it seems like the riders, ooh, there's a good one, I just popped right back in. That was a nerve pop. Okay, that was the one I've been working on. Good, it finally released. Yay! I'm just intuitively going and channeling at the same time, so I'm just in it. I'm in it to win it. Oh. But oddly enough, I'm finding the areas of the horses here and here is the same on the riders. So the horses are mimicking the riders' energy. Because the riders are not riding 100%, they're compensating. Therefore, their horses are compensating for their lack of being able to do it correctly. So the horse has to compensate, and that horse's compensation is where your ulcers come into play, where your soundness issues come into play, your mental issues come into play. See, he's fully actually still in loving this. This is where all of your issues come into play. This whole area right here was rock hard, like a hip bone, and I'm finally starting to get it to be pliable again. It was hard as a rock, so much scar tissue. You would think it was hip bone, but it's not. It's scar tissue right there. I do a little bit at a time because it's not the most pleasant thing to have done. And as long as they got food in front of them, they're thinking of this as a positive experience, because once they're done with their food, guess what happens? Their body feels better, and guess what? Their experience of this whole thing was 1,000,000%. So that way, when you come out here to do this kind of stuff with them again, they're like, I know when she left and walked out that gate, I felt better than I have in my whole entire life. So therefore, when she comes back in that gate, I'm going to love her like there's no tomorrow. I love getting into the animals' energy. It's so cool. They're so fun. Oh my God, the other day I released this hip. It was tight muscle in through here. And I finally got it to trigger, and then all of a sudden everything just went down and smooth and down and smooth and down and smooth. I was like, oh my God, his whole hip extended out. He's 16 years old. Can you imagine how he's going to feel like when he runs again? He's going to be like, I'm like, I look at him, he's like, oh yeah, right there. Oh yeah. It's a good and almost a bad feeling. He's like, how about take sides? How about we just do this side for right now, Mom? He dictates to me what he wants. He knows best. All I'm doing is I am tapped into his energy 1,000,000%. Right there. That's what he wanted. There's a little release right there. That's right where that saddle and right where you sit. There we go. Nice. Get it all. We're taking it up. We're going to take all that scar tissue right up to the spine. It always starts at the spine. Right there, we're going to find a way to reset that. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Got a little bit right there. You can see him really raise his tail when I got to that first spot right there. Oh, yeah. So I'm going right along with this tip of this thing, right along his spine. And you shouldn't be able to do that without him flinching down right there. There's a little bit of right there. So we got a live nerve right here we need to reset. I felt something right there. I think that would just reset it. Waiting for a release. There's a tail lift right there. There's your release. There, it sunk down. Okay, there. And I just reset that nerve. Oh, wow. Now I could just drive that. Oh, there's a little bit right there. I can drive that point right up into his spine, all the way down his spine. Wow. Couldn't do that before because that nerve was firing. You reset that nerve, and that pain goes away. Oh, yeah. He's like, oh. Right through here, the tail croup right here, there's always a lot of area that gets a lot of stress. He likes that. He's like, please don't stop. So it's nice being in their energy. They can tell me, you know, I can take them to the point of, okay, I'm tolerating it. All right, if you keep doing it about 2 more times, I'm going to move, and then I stop before that he moves. And so we can work together as a team while I'm in his energy to use whatever he's going to do. If he's going to move, and it's a move because it's going to reset something, and it's going opposite of the way I'm going, I'm just going to kind of just stay where I'm at and let him move backwards and pull into it. Because maybe that's a move that he needs to do, and guess what? It usually is, or always is, I should say. Cancel, clear, delete, always is the move that he needs to do to hear a pop, crack, or snap that he needed to do. Right? There's a little trauma wound right there. They don't look like much. Even a bite to the neck from a horse can cause enough scar tissue damage that to get them to be a top athlete, they will never, unless you get all that scar tissue out, because it gets rid of the mobility of the neck. And if you don't have any mobility in the neck, then you don't have any mobility in the rest of the body. There you go. Nice. I mean, I can take that stone clear down hard on his skin. I'm looking for any sore spots. I'm going hard too. Everything feels pretty good. Let's see how he is. He's got one over here too. See, he's like, that's almost enough, Mom. I'm just going to hold it there, give a little bit of push, 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 twist, and that's just what I needed for him to help me to get that broken. As long as I can get a start on it. Don't mind going over and tipping over my camera. See right there, he just needs to walk it off. So he's going to go over, looks like he's going to go over and get a drink, which is perfect. He's been eating. He's still completely dangling as a gelding, so he's still releasing. The movement will get him to put things back into place. And then the water, the hydration, when he's done, he'll come back here and say when he's ready. So in the process, in the meantime, he's going to put everything kind of walking around and moving and twisting and all that kind of stuff. Those movements are good, so you want to keep those movements. So what I'm finding is even the restriction from a bite to the neck limits that mobility. Here it comes. He got his water. Oh, he's got a pee too. So we're taking a pee. Got our drink. He's released, released, released. Now he's going to come in here, and I'm going to test him and see how he feels. This is going to be awesome. He is the perfect candidate. I love this. And the energy here is absolutely amazing. Here he comes. Don't touch the camera, dude. Go around it. Go on. No. Come on. Go around it. There he is. All right. That was perfect. Now I give him plenty of time to be able to stretch everything out. There's still a knot right there. Ooh, that's a deep one. There, it just popped. So by getting that top surface, big bubble layer gone, and then having him going out and doing all that, that showed me where the main issue is right there. We still haven't quite got it, but I got another spot of it. When they're big like that, it takes years to build those up. There, almost got it. And he's got a big chunk of scar tissue right there. I'm going to work on that. Got a little bump right here. But every little area where you restrict movement, if not taken care of over the time period of years, will restrict their movement completely to even have lameness issues. Oh, he's doing so good. I mean, I'm pushing hard too, right up along that spine with that point of that thing. That's amazing. A couple little chunks right there. Smooth out. He's like leaning the other way, like, oh gosh, yeah, that feels good. Good boy. And the more that loosens up, then the more that hip's going to loosen up, and then you won't have any more hip issues. The more pain that they're in, the more the ulcers are going to come. It's just like you living in pain nonstop, you know, and not having any say in it, and you just live with it every day. You would have ulcers too. There's a release. This hip is finally given. It was so big and hard, the skin over it. Now you can move the skin all around it. You couldn't even move the skin before. It just felt like hip bone. In fact, I just thought it was hip bone. But then when I started working with it, it's like, no, that's just a big chunk of scar tissue all over his hip. So his hip doesn't even close to work. His hip doesn't even work even close to what it could and what it will when I'm done. He will have full mobility of his body when he's done. Oh, yeah, right there. Oh, okay, so see the tail raise? I hope you can see that right there. Boom. So by him standing in this direction right here, he's actually helping me because it's loosening that whole loin area up so I can get really, really deep. So he's in the perfect spot. Oh yeah, there's a spot right there. Right there. So I can get the spots that I couldn't find before. So he's actually in the perfect, perfect spot to get these spots that I've not been able to find before. Which means he's loosening up his muscles as much as possible. That was awesome. Good job. He's like, no, don't stop. You keep going, Mom. You keep going. Don't stop. I just had to move a little bit. He's so funny. That's what his energy just said. He's like, no, don't stop. Don't stop. Try this side for a little bit, Mom. Oh, right there. Yep. He's like, oi. It's like it feels good, but it kind of hurts a little bit. Let's do this side. He says, let's do this side. Try this side. Oh, wow. That's like all like jello loosey-goosey. Wow, look at you, buddy. That thing was stiff and hard muscle. It's just like feeling like loose. Oh, wow. That is amazing. The transformation. I've been working on him about a couple weeks now. Body work. Wow. He's just like the smoothest muscle right there. Like there's nothing. It's just beautiful. Wow. Get this hip to release right here, all this trauma, and then he'll start getting that full range of his whole body. This affects his turns, his launches, anything he needs his wrap around and snap. He can't. He does the best he can. Oh, wow, that just released a huge amount. Wow, what the heck just happened? What the heck just happened? That was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. Huh. It's like all of a sudden it just released, and when it did, it went from a hard bone to like soft and gushy, like what it's supposed to feel like. And then I'm trying to get the hard stuff on the top now. Wow, that was interesting. I love working with scar tissue because when you do, it's just like, you don't, it's the one thing when you work with, like what I do everything intuitively with spirit. Which means the higher self of whatever I'm working on. So I'm in tune with their energy as much as I could be of anything. And so they tell me what they need. And we don't have to waste time on stuff that doesn't matter. And that's the best thing you can do with animals, because you spend an hour on stuff that doesn't matter, and then you get to the good stuff, and then you're done. Because you only have so long with a horse. After that, they're like, okay, I think we're done. And if you take it past that point, they're going to get sour. And you want these things to be good experiences, especially where I'm raking this rock stone tool over the top of their ribs, and he's not doing anything. Good boy. Good boy. He's got a scar right there. He's like, I hate to move again, but I really want some hay. He's such a gentleman. He's such a gentleman. His energy is just amazing. I love working with him. As long as you can keep food in front of him, he will be your, like, can do, I'm the dude for you. I'll do anything you want. You have food for him at all times. And he will do whatever you want him to do. And with a smile on his face. He is very food oriented. There, that looks good. This is finally starting to fill up. Still a little bit right into there. See, he's about done right now, so we're gonna just boom, 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 erase, 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 and I'm gonna call it good. That way we don't overdo it. That was awesome. I love being able to work on these horses. They don't lie when it comes to how they feel. And that's something that we all need to work on, is being able to express how we feel. Because if we can express how we feel, then we're not bottling it all up. And we bottle it up, our horse is the one that take the rap. And there's your ulcers. They take on all the energy that we have inside, all the stuff that we hate about our life and ourselves and everything. Don't tip the camera over. All right, you guys. There's the kiss.